So today we're going to be focusing on hips and hamstrings. So if you're feeling tight in your hips or your hamstrings, this is for you. It'll be about a 30-minute practice. If you do have a yoga strap, that will be helpful today. If you don't, you're welcome to use a scarf or a towel, anything kind of long and thin that you can use for some hamstring stretching. You won't need it right away, but eventually. So we're going to start today in child's pose. So just bring your hips down to your heels, reach your arms in front of you. Place your chest on your thighs and just come to your breath. Just letting your breath slow down. You can start to sit your hips back to your heels even more, pressing them onto your heels. And then reach your hands in front of you, lengthening through your spine. Find that length. Breathe deeply there. And taking one more deep inhale. And exhale, come onto all fours, hands and knees. I'm going to start to come through cat-cow. So on your inhale, look up towards the ceiling, tilt your tailbone up, let your belly drop to the floor, arching your back. And then exhale, round your spine, press away from the floor, let your chin fall to your chest. Rounding your spine here. Inhale, look up, tilt your tailbone up, moving through cat-cow at your own pace with your own breath. If something else feels better right now for your spine, you're welcome to do that. Maybe moving side to side, maybe moving in circles. And staying with your breath throughout this. And on your next inhale, come to all fours, neutral spine. Bring your right hand to the center of the mat. Lift your left hand up towards the ceiling, reaching up as much as possible, pressing down through your bottom hand. On your exhale, slide that hand all the way through. Bring your shoulder down to the mat. Extend your other hand above your head or reach it behind your back. Just taking some deep breaths here. And exhale, come back to all fours. Bring your left hand to the center of the mat. Lift your right hand up towards the ceiling, reaching up, pressing down through your bottom hand. And exhale, slide that hand all the way through. Bring your shoulder down to the mat. Extend your other hand above your head or reach it behind your back. Nice deep breaths. On your next exhale, come back to all fours, sit back to child's pose, press your hips back to your heels, rest your forehead to the floor. Come back to your breath. And then move onto all fours once again. Tuck your toes under and lift your knees just an inch off the mat. So you're hovering above the mat. Feel your core contract as you squeeze your knees forward towards your wrists and pull your hands back towards your knees. Those 2 points squeezing together engages your core. Stay with your breath, hovering above the mat. And then exhale, come into downward dog. Lift your hips up, straighten your legs. Press your chest back towards your thighs. You can take a couple breaths here, bend one knee, then the other. Stretch out your calves and your hamstrings. On your inhale, rise onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees deeply. Press your chest back towards your thighs, lifting your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Find that length all the way through your spine. Then keeping that length through your spine, lifting your tailbone even higher, start to lengthen your legs straight. And then slowly lower your heels down towards the ground, keeping your back lengthened. On your inhale, lift your right leg up. Square your hips to the ground, lengthen both your legs long. On your exhale, shift your shoulders over your wrists, pull your knee to your chest, squeeze your core. Inhale, reach your leg back out. Exhale, pull your knee to your right elbow. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, pull it to the left elbow. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, knee to your chest. Inhale out. Exhale, knee to your right elbow. Inhale out. Exhale to the left elbow. Inhale, reach it out, come back to downward dog. Come forward into plank position, shifting shoulders over your wrists. Firm your legs, feel your inner thighs squeezing together, and draw your belly button up towards your spine. Stay with your breath. Exhale, press back to downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Square your hips, lengthen your legs long. Exhale, shift shoulders over wrists, pull your knee to your chest, squeeze your core. Inhale, reach it back out. Exhale, pull your knee to your left elbow. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, pull your knee to your right elbow. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, knee to your chest, squeeze your core. Inhale out. Exhale to the left elbow. Inhale out. Exhale to the right elbow. Inhale, reach it out, come back to downward dog. Shift forward into plank once again. Stay with your breath here. And push back to downward dog, lower back into child's pose. Hips to your heels, forehead to the floor. Come back to your breath. Now if it feels good, you can walk both your hands over to the right side, about 45 degrees. Stretch out the side of your back. And then you can walk both your hands to the left side, taking a couple breaths in both positions. Exhale, come back to the center, shift onto all fours, make your way back to downward dog. And once you're here, reach your right hand to place it on the outside edge of your left ankle. So you're twisting in this position. Find your pelvis square still, so without letting your hips open to the side. And then exhale, come back to downward dog. Switch to bring your left hand on the outside of your right ankle. Twisting here. And exhale, come back to downward dog. Slowly walk your feet all the way to your hands, all the way to the top of your mat. Take your feet about hip width distance. Relax your neck, let your head hang heavy. Maybe shake your head yes and no. Maybe clasp your elbows and sway side to side. Now in this position, bend your knees as much as you need to place your chest onto your thighs. Release your palms to the floor. And then start to straighten your knees ever so slightly, feeling that length through your hamstrings. On your inhale, bring your hands to your shins, lift up halfway, find a flat back. So widen the front of your chest, tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, sweep your hands out and up, standing tall. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes, take a moment here to find your breath. Notice how it feels to stand upright today. And on your inhale, sweep your hands out and up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, find your half lift, flat back. Exhale, place your palms down, step back to plank. Take a couple breaths here, Feeling your core firm. On your next exhale, lower halfway down. Keep your elbows close to your body. Inhale, pull your chest through your hands for upward facing dog. Point your toes, lift your knees off the mat. Press away from the ground with your hands, really pressing out of the floor. Exhale, tuck your toes, press back to downward dog. Take 5 breaths here. Once again, find that length through your spine, that same feeling as when you rose up on your toes and pressed your chest back to your thighs. On your inhale, rise onto your toes, bend your knees deeply, look between your hands. Walk or hop feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep your hands out and up, standing tall. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your big toes to touch here, feet together. On your inhale, bend your knees deeply, sweep your hands back and up for chair pose. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Step back to plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Point your toes, lift your knees off the mat. Exhale, downward dog. Lift your hips up, length through your spine. On your inhale, step your right foot between your hands. Rotate your left heel down, sealing your back foot to the mat. Sweep your hands up for warrior one. On your exhale, frame your foot with your hands, step back to plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, step your left foot between your hands, seal your right heel down to the mat. Sweep your hands up for warrior one, bending the front knee deeply, lengthening for your back leg. Exhale, frame your foot, step back to plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths. Inhale, rise onto your toes, bend your knees deeply, jump feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come back to chair, bend your knees deeply, sweep your hands up. Exhale, stand, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your hands to your hips. On your exhale, fold forward with a flat back. Take your feet about hip-width distance apart. And then bend your knees enough to place your hands on the ground. Now with your first 2 fingers of both hands, bring them around your big toes. Keep that forward fold. Press your chest towards your thighs. Inhale, find a half lift, keeping your hands around your toes. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And exhale, fold all the way forward. Stay with your breath. Pull your chest to your thighs. On your inhale, come back to your half lift. Bring your whole palm underneath your feet. So you're placing your fingers towards your heels and stepping down on the palm of your hand. Exhale, pull your chest down towards your thighs, forward fold. Take some deep breaths here. Every exhale, get a little bit closer to your legs. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. your palms on the ground, untuck them from your feet, step back to plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, step your right foot between your hands. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Sweep your hands up for a low lunge. Bringing your arms to frame your face. In this position, draw your belly button back towards your spine to lengthen the front of your hip flexor. Now on your exhale, bring your forearms to the ground on your instep side of your foot. If you can't bring your forearms all the way down, just place your palms on the inside of your foot. You may need to step your foot a little bit forward or take your knee back a little bit. And if you'd like to go deeper into this pose, tuck your back toes under and lengthen your back knee off the mat. And walk your hands back up so your arms are straight. Step your back leg in about a foot so you can straighten both knees. And then you can bring your hands to frame your front foot once again. So they're on either side of your foot. Square your hips towards the top of your mat. Keep breathing. Try to extend both legs as straight as possible here. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot between your hands. Lower your right knee down to the mat. Sweep your hands up. Low lunge. Draw your belly button back towards your spine, lengthening through your spine all the way up through the top of your head. Now on your exhale, lower your hands or your forearms all the way down to the mat on the inside edge of your foot by your instep. Stay with your breath. And then tuck your back toes under, lengthen your back knee off the mat, only if this feels okay for your body today. Bring your hands back up to straighten your elbows. Step your back foot in, lengthen both legs long. Square your hips to the top of the mat. And step back to downward dog. Come through a flow, come into plank position, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your hands to your feet, keeping your knees as straight as possible. And then once they have to bend, walk them all the way to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Take your feet out about the width of your mat. Rotate them out 45 degrees. Then bend your knees all the way to bring your hips lower than your knees. Bring your hands to your heart, lift your chest up, coming into goddess pose. Keep engaging your upper back, open your chest here, opening your hips and your chest. Exhale, fold all the way forward, straighten your legs. On your next exhale, come back to goddess, bend your knees deeply, coming into that deep squat position. If you'd like to come into a bind here, you can always reach your arms around one knee, clasping your hands behind your back. And exhale, straighten your legs, fold forward. One more time, come back to goddess, bend your knees deeply, hands to your heart. If If you did a bind on the first side, do a bind on the second side. And exhale, fold all the way forward, straighten your legs. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step back to plank. From this plank position, lower all the way down onto your belly until you're lying completely flat. And rest one cheek on the ground here. Reach your hands to your feet, bend your knees. Bring your hands to your insteps, right foot to your right hand and left foot to your left hand. And then find a neutral position with your head looking down towards the mat. Kick into your hands to lift your chest off the ground. Your hands are around your feet. So as you kick into them, you're lifting up off the mat. Stay with your breath, lifting higher. Every inhale, lift higher. Exhale, release all the way down to the ground. Release your legs, let them sway side to side, windshield wiper back and forth. And then come back to your position, looking down towards the mat. Bring your hands to your insteps. Kick back to lift all the way up. Breathing here. Exhale, come all the way down. Push yourself back to downward dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg up. And you can let your hip open, lift your leg as high as possible, open your hip. Maybe circle your ankle if that feels good. And bring your right knee towards your right elbow, cross your mat for pigeon. Lower your hips down to the ground, square your hip bones to the top of your mat, and then walk your hands all the way forward to relax your forehead to the mat. Stay with your breath here, letting your hips open. Slowly walk your hands back up. Press yourself back to downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up, square your hips. And then lift your toes high as possible. Open your hips, bend your knees, circle your ankle. When you're ready, come into pigeon on the second side. Pull your knee towards your left elbow. Cross your mat with your shin. Lower your hips to the ground. Walk your hands all the way forward to relax your forehead to the floor. Slowly walk your hands back up. Press yourself back to downward dog. And then rise onto your toes, jump through to a seated position, or just lower your knees down and bring your legs around to the front of your body. Slowly lower yourself all the way onto your back, laying flat. Here's where you're going to take your strap or your towel or scarf. Bring it around your right foot. Lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your left leg long. Pull up the ends of the scarf or the strap with your hands. And pull that leg towards you, but try to keep your tailbone flat on the mat. So you're lengthening your leg as long as possible. It may not go very far, just go as much as you can. Find your knee as straight as possible. Stay with your breath. Every exhale, release a little bit of tension in your hamstring here. And then slowly release that foot, lengthen that leg out long, and switch sides. Bring your left foot up, strap around the ball of your left foot. Lengthen that leg long. And just breathe. Slowly release that leg down. Release the strap, place it on the side of your mat. And pull your knees into your chest, give them a hug in, maybe rock side to side. Maybe taking your knees in circles, giving your low back a little massage. And come into happy baby. Bring your feet to your hands, right foot to your right hand and left foot to your left hand. As you press your hands into your feet and your feet into your hands, you should feel your tailbone lying flat on the mat, so it's pressing down towards the mat, lengthening through your spine. Slowly release your feet to the floor, lengthen your legs out long. Let your ankles drop open. Bring your hands palm up by your side. Close your eyes, bring all your attention to your breath. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Let every muscle in your body relax into the floor. Take a moment to thank yourself for doing this practice today, taking care of your body and your mind. And then start to wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe circle your wrists and ankles. Maybe stretch out long. When you're ready, roll onto your right side. And slowly push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. Bring your hands to your forehead, bow to the floor.